Come fly with me, let's fly away. If you can use...
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of This Morning Airlines, it's my pleasure to welcome you on board flight TM 1035 to London.
Myself and Kat Dealey will be your cabin crew, and you're in very safe hands because we have an incredible family of pilots in the cockpit. Husband and wife, Henry and Hailey Brewis, and Henry's brother, Captain Tom Brewis.
After clocking up more than 100 years of experience between them, they're joining us to share their stories from the flight deck, as well as to debunk some of the biggest myths about flying. Well, we run and run with a theme here, don't we? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Very well.
So let's start off with you, first of all, Henry and Tom. So you were originally going to kind of be doctors. Everybody thought you were going to... That was what the family tradition was.
Our father was a doctor, our uncles were doctors, our
Right.
grandfather, great-grandfather were doctors, and that was
Wow.
kind of the way we were heading. But
Right.
didn't really want to do that.
Yeah, what happened, Tom? How did you both get smitten by...
Well, I actually went flying with one of my father's patients, and I thought, this is better than working quite so hard at school to become a doctor. So, and I just loved it from the moment that happened, really. And so I started flying, and then Henry followed me shortly thereafter.
No, I was rubbish at chemistry, so...
So you couldn't do the doctoring?
No.
And that
too
was
difficult.
it.
Yeah.
Well, you both look very well on it, may I say, too. And then, Hailey, you were a vet, first of all.
That's all I'd ever wanted to do from the time I was 13. And
Right.
I qualified.
Yeah.
And then one fateful day, I went for a trial flight in a glider. And that was it. Flying just grabbed me. And from then on, flying it was.
And so what drew you to the glider, first of all? And then what made the transition happen to kind of commercial pilot?
The glider part was accident, really.
Right.
I was seeing practice before qualifying as a vet, as local practice.
Yeah.
And there was a gliding club along the road, and they had an open day, and I thought, why not?
We've been having this discussion a little bit earlier about love at first sight. I mean, this couple that within 3 hours got engaged and they've been together for 50-odd years. The two of you met because of your passion, your new joy of flying.
That's absolutely right. Yes, I was just going through the interview process for my course, and they rang me up and said, before you come for the next interview, you need this particular rating on your licence. So I rang up the flying club. I said, I need this rating.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we have two instructors, Jerry and Henry. I didn't know either of them, but I liked the name Henry.
And look what happens, love at first flight.
Yeah. We got engaged 6 months later and
here you are.
married for
Wow.
34 years. So.
How is it being so irresistible?
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, pilot, like you're a quick worker.
So now the interesting thing is you all fly for TUI.
Yes.
That's your pilots for TUI. Between you, you've got 100 flying years.
100 years with TUI, we've got a bit more total.
In total,
flying.
even more.
Yeah.
Hailey and Henry, you fly together quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah, we certainly
do.
have, yeah. Yeah, indeed.
But you had a flight recently, Tom, where the three of you got to fly together.
Yeah, well...
Tell us about that.
We worked out that we'd done 100 years, so we put the idea to the company. They said International Family Day would be a good day to do this.
Yeah.
So 15th of May, we all hopped on an aeroplane and went to Cancun and spent a day or two there and then came back. But, you see, we're all captains, so there was the problem of who's going to be in charge.
Oh, so how did you sort it out?
Well, we decided we can't have brothers arguing, so we thought we'd better get Hailey to be the
boss.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
When you are captaining of two brothers, Hailey, were they difficult to manage or did they listen?
They were good boys. They did just their job.
She's got two elbows. She can
Yes.
just stick them either side. And actually, was that the first time you'd all flown together since
was.
you've recovered from your breast cancer?
Yes,
too?
absolutely. Yes, yes. As well as being the first time ever, full stop, it was first time since my recovery, yes.
And you're completely clear now?
Absolutely. Fingers crossed and all that, but...
Oh,
yeah,
what
all good.
what a celebration too, then.
It was lovely. It was like a new beginning. Sounds a bit cheesy.
No,
but-
of course it's
absolutely.
not.
It's exactly that.
And now, lots of our viewers are getting ready to go off on their holidays and sort of excited about that. And there's a few myths that we'd like to dispel, if possible, with you. Because we've had a few reports recently. There's been a number of reports, Henry, about turbulence.
Yeah.
And it feels like, or people are reporting that there's seen an increase in turbulence and just how bad turbulence is. There's been a few flights recently and we've seen, you know, what's tragically one death on one of those flights as well. Can you dispel the concerns about turbulence? Is it getting worse? Just how bad is it?
I don't believe it's getting worse, no, and we've had a chat about it. We don't believe it's getting worse. And in fact, there's some good news on that front, and that is that the information that we give them to avoid it is getting better. Even in the last couple of years, it's getting better. So, without getting too technical about it, when we first started flying, we just had a thing called a significant weather chart, which told us about jet streams and thunderstorms. We still get that, and that's very good. And then probably about 5 or 6 years ago, we started getting more information about what's called a shear rating, which is how quickly the wind changes direction and speed. And literally in the last probably 2 years, there's another thing, I'd say, without getting too technical, thing called eddy dissipation rate, which is a chart which is actually very accurate, which can tell us where a lot of the turbulence is, and we can actively descend or climb or go around it, yeah. So I'm very confident that things are actually getting better and not worse.
OK, excellent. Good news. Hailey, what about lightning? Is it possible that if lightning struck a plane, it could actually take it down?
No, basically. No. Yes, lightning can strike an aeroplane, but they're designed for that. There are systems in place to make sure that it's not going to damage the aeroplane. So, no, it's perfectly safe.
And what about if it was a big storm, though? Would you do the same thing as the turbulence, essentially?
We would go around it,
right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, we have ultimate control of going around these things, and that's what we do. We want a nice, comfortable ride as well as providing one for our passengers.
Have you ever had to divert for bad weather in the past?
Yes.
If necessary, yes. It's very rare, but we will,
It
absolutely, if we have to.
Yeah. Tom, there is one of the things that's often stated about flying is that it's safer than driving. Is that true?
It certainly is, yes. The most dangerous thing you do on the day of going flying is going to the airport and back again, so in your car.
It's something like 6 people that die every day in cars in the UK and 3,500 people worldwide. But you don't get to hear that on the news, do you?
No, of course not.
But anything slightly happens with aviation and it's all over the news.
Yeah.
Last year was the safest year in the IATA figure said something like 70 people were injured or killed last year in flying worldwide.
And that would be millions and millions of flights.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you know, we've heard how many people on the roads a day in the UK. It's it's a completely different order of magnitude.
Yes.
OK.
Yeah.
What about, Henry, the recirculated air in the aeroplane? Everybody always goes, oh, there's so many germs around,
off the plane with a cold,
I
or I
felt
got
so
it,
ill. And
Yeah, there are very, very good filters on the aeroplane for a start. Well, let the vet talk about it.
Oh, yes.
yes, the vet.
Yes. Now, first of all, the aeroplanes are equipped with HEPA filters.
HEPA
What
filters.
are they?
Yes, they are. Don't ask me what that stands for, but they are hospital standard filters to filter the air. And I think vacuum cleaners have them as well.
Okay.
As an aside. Air is recirculated very frequently around the cabin. The air changes are equivalent to a hospital operating theatre.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So with the filtration and the rapid changes of air and also the direction in which the air comes in the cabin, it's filtered down around the sides. So it doesn't go across everybody's heads. It goes down and then is exhausted at the bottom. So, in actual fact, you are far more likely to pick up a bug in your local supermarket than you are on an aeroplane.
I did not know
I didn't
that.
realise
Did
that's
you?
how it's filtered.
No,
Brilliant.
no
Lovely
idea.
stuff. OK, so the technical stuff for that, thank you very much, Hailey. Who's going to deal with the human waste issue then? Tom or Henry, who do we come to?
Well, I don't know. That's probably me, isn't it?
There is a popular belief from some people, not from me, but planes can sometimes dump human waste mid-flight.
No, that doesn't happen.
It
goes into a tank and it's collected at the end of the flight by what we know as the honey cart. So it's best not to be around the aeroplane when that's being emptied in case they get the valves in the wrong order.
So what is blue ice, though? There is something called blue ice, isn't there?
There is. It's a historical thing, I think. It was due to older aeroplanes which had a leak in the valve that connects to the honey cart where stuff could leak out slightly. It could... Obviously, if water comes out of the aeroplane, it's going to freeze.
Right.
It's blue because of the chemicals in the loo to sanitise things.
Oh, I see.
And occasionally, approaching an airport, that could fall off.
Yeah.
But that's an error rather than a design.
That was back when you started flying.
I haven't heard of a case of that for quite a long time.
And most importantly of all, how do we get an upgrade? Let's come to the chase. How do we get an upgrade?
Speak very nicely to the cabin crew.
That's not our. That's not our.
That's
Not your department.
It's a different sort of honey.
We always do.
Exactly. But look after that. So I think that's an interesting point, though, isn't it? The nicer you are, it's the cabin crew that have the
Absolutely.
ability to
Yes.
upgrade
Yes.
if there is an opportunity to upgrade. So keep sweet with them.
They are genuinely doing their best to give you a lovely flight. And
And our crew are fantastic. I just want to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, second to none.
They look
you.
after you well.
They do.
Well, thank you all for joining us. It's lovely to meet you all.
Absolute
Very
pleasure.
nice.
I know you're going to have a busy summer, I'm sure, taking people away on their holidays.
yes.
So fly safe.
Thank
Thank
you
you very
very
much
much.
indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And